Hey guys, Joel Atkinson here again at Genesis Sports Performance and Physical Therapy. Again, talking about this line of creating power, acceleration, and speed. So before you can even be a faster or agile athlete, you have to be strong. And I think it's so funny that oftentimes when I'm watching people teach about speed, it's easy to teach the movements of physically running, yes, and moving side to side, but how much power can you put into those movements is going to translate to how much speed you definitely have, or the ability to accelerate. So make sure that if you're trying to get faster, that you're getting stronger first, okay? Yes, of course, we'll focus on speed power techniques as well, but get those muscles stronger that you're trying to get sparked up and ready to go, and be that explosive athlete. So let's talk about incorporating that with the lower half today. Again, starting with more baseline stuff, we're going to be making sure that we can hinge and unhinge first, okay? And of course extend and flex as well. So when we talk about creating power in the lower half, we have to be able to hinge. What I mean is taking the hips horizontally more than just going down into the knee. And we see this all the time on squatting techniques, cleaning techniques, lunges, side lunges. We're always working into the knee, and I think that's a big common thread with people trying to create power at their lower half, is oftentimes on the lower end of the athletes, the younger athletes, they're going into the knee, the guys that don't have good core stability or good range of motion at the hip. So for a basic athlete, it's going to be more of like a goblet style lunge, like you see me doing here with a kettle, or a kettlebell works definitely a little better for, in terms of its handles help for comfortability, but I got a little dumbbell here today, and just going into that hinge in the squat, even just partially breaking, just feeling the hinge with slight weight to the upper half, and then graduating into a squat, and making sure they're staying in that posterior chain and working up through. Now the next part of that I like to graduate to once they got the movement down is adding tempo. So with the tempo now, we may go with the slow start or onset and get to that base or get to the peak final spot and then thrust out of it quickly. And I think that's a big characteristic as well. When trying to be athletic, you have to be able to move to and from athletic positions with speed and force. So if you're not isolating the movement well enough, you're not going to be able to do that. So if I'm more in the frontal part of my body on my squat, it's going to be harder for me to get more upright. So if I get more on that posterior side, it can come through. And then as you kind of graduate, go to single leg movements, whether it's a split stance lunge working up and down, or lateral movements, again, depending on what you're trying to prioritize and what athlete you're working with. Bulgarian split squats, elevating the backside and working down and in, front squats. All of it can be deviated, all of it can be adjusted once we have that kind of foundation to it. So again, if you're trying to be faster, build strength first, and then manipulate that strength across different planes of the body.